I don't have any audio processing on this mic either, so it's probably picking up all that Coheed and Cambria. Going to get my stream taken down, so let me cut my music down. I could put headphones on, but ugh. And for anyone who joins, I'm sorry. I don't have 3 monitors at this desk, and I'm using both of my main monitors in full screen, so I cannot see any chat. So I am sorry. If anyone tries to chat, I'll read it later. If any of your league members, you can jump on the Discord and ping me, and we can get a voice chat going there if you'd like. But right now, this is where we're at. We're working on the Mercedes. This is the new decal set, and I figured the best first place to put it would be on the new car. So here's how I do this. You can just watch along. It's going to be slow. It's not an exciting stream at all. This is a long, arduous process, but you know, I figured it gives some insight into what I do and what I love to do for my online racing league. So, yay. Alright, so let's get moving here. Last night, I got the new number plate in place. And it has the new league logo on it. In the, I guess that's the sanctioning body spot, you could call it. Our secondary sponsor is clearly visible, much more visible than before now. In the other spot on there. And of course, Ricmotech takes up the bottom. We still have the Ricmotech gear on the class decal. Of course, this is GT3 Pro. Now, this is going to be something interesting we have to think about down the road. With the new hypercars coming in, and they're being considered GT Pro class in IMSA. Are we going to have to change over from what we're doing now with GTP and GTA for our GT3 class with, if the hypercars come in? We'll still have LMP2, I'm sure, if there's any interest. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to keep LMP2 with the hypercars or not. It's already kind of a low attendance class, which is unfortunate. Because they are, they do. I can't say they're fun because I don't drive them. I literally don't. I don't mess with them at all. But I know there's a lot of people on iRacing who drive them. There's a lot of people who love them. And they make multi-class racing very fun and exciting. So I'm really unsure why it's such a low participation class in the league. So you see here we have our secondary Apex Racing TV decal. That will take over on the back of all the cars. We used to have a duplicate of the full one back there, but no more. There's the Real Gear decal that takes over for VP Racing Fuels. So right now for this particular decal set, I still need to add the Ricmotech gear to the wing ends. And then the new Apex Racing Academy decal on the C-pillar. For the most part, I try to design these so that drivers and painters and team managers don't have to make a lot of concessions in how they design their cars. Like, they can put a paint together that works for every series they run in. They can just put send us the blank paint, and it's already set up with the IMSA positions. I try to do that, but of course the C-pillar here, that's not on any of the IMSA or SRO decal plates, decal templates. So that's when I have to be a little obtrusive, but you know, that's the price you pay. In reality, what's supposed to happen here is that's supposed to be a sign-up program for drivers who are taking advantage of the discount offered by Apex Racing Academy if you're a member of the Extreme Motorsports Racing League. And then those people who have signed up for Apex Racing Academy and taken the discount, we then put it on their cars. But so far we've had a little problem tracking who has actually signed up for the discount program, and so it's gone on all the cars so far. Hopefully within the next season or so we'll get that program running as intended, but for now we need to get that on the C-pillar. And what I'll do is go ahead and copy it over from an existing car. And not that. I need... Yep, the GT4 Merc. We'll copy it from there. Alright. And one thing I like about the newer versions of Photoshop, this thing is a little more of a resource hog. I am using, back in the day, of course, all of us NASCAR 2003 guys, you didn't hear this from me, but we all had like cracked versions of Photoshop and whatnot. But nowadays I'm using a legitimate copy of Photoshop. I actually do pay for this. It's a little bit of a resource hog compared to the older versions. Let's see, how high do we want this to be up the C-pillar? I do want it up above the rear window cutout. So that looks like it's actually going to have to be here in this area. Come on. Alright, so is it already pretty much at the angle it needs to be? Let's nudge it over a little bit. Gosh, it looks like it's already at a good angle. Alright, so let's fire our action off here and update the paint. And it could just be my PC. It's 10 years old. It's starting to drag a little bit. I've actually got a new hard drive ready to go in it, a solid state. It's got a solid state in it now, but it's an older solid state. And it's not got a lot of drive space left. And I've got a new one to put in it, but so far have just not had... Well, technically I have had time to copy the drive over, but with everything else going on, I've just kind of decided that, you know, to put that on the back burner, and I need to get it done. Alright, so let's get this rotated just a little bit. Let's take it down to 7 degrees. Alright, let's see if that makes the change we want. It looks a little too rotated and skewed against the back window, so I want to correct that. So one thing, I do like the new iRacing car viewer here, but I wish there were a way to literally move the model in the screen, like to recenter it so that you could focus in on certain parts more easily. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So there's our angle there. Oh yeah, that's looking good. It looks really sharp. So now let's get our gear design for the wing end here. And we can also copy that from the GT4. And here's a cool little thing. You just hold control. And there's your layer you wanted. I actually want our logo copy 1, because it'll get copied again on this file. And let's go ahead and close this file out and get it out of the way, free up whatever memory space that will. I've got to come back to that car too because the Real Gear logo on it's been pixelated, and I need to replace it with this one. So, all right, so now let's bring our Real Gear logo up here. We'll just drag it right on up and get the wireframe cut on. Come on, Mr. Wireframe. There we go. So I can see how big I can actually make this. And oh, it's below the colored parts. This is still a work in progress, so I don't have anything in order yet. I've even got a couple of decals I've not copied over to the other side of the car. So you'll just have to bear with me here. All right, let's scale it out a little bit. And it is set to match, okay. I don't want it too big on the wing. I don't want it to look gaudy and obnoxious, but of course we do want to cover some space if we can. All right. So it's a problem when you got a car like this. Like, all the cars have different wings on them. And sometimes you end up with a very large area like that. You end up with a very large logo, whereas the other cars don't have one quite so big. So let's shrink this just a little bit. Where are we at? We're at 21. Oh yeah, we're flat. Okay, so let's take it to... That honestly looks good, just taking it down to 20. Let's see how it looks on the car. Subtle. Maybe down to 18. I don't know, or maybe 20 is good. I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna think about it for a while. Go ahead and copy it, see how it ends up looking on both as we rotate the car around. All right. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. It'll show up good on the broadcast. Yeah, it's looking good. Looking good there. Okay. Let's get our Apex Racing TV and Real Gear logos copied over. And this is one thing I like to keep them centered. Photoshop has a way to line them up evenly with the snap options, and it works relatively well. But sometimes with angled images like this, they don't snap together the way I want them to. So we'll go ahead and rotate this puppy by hand here. It looks like that's lining up really well. Relatively close to the same position. Maybe one notch, one nudge up. Now let's do the same thing with our Real Gear. Now you can zoom out the window, and the nudge tool will work much faster, but I didn't feel like doing that right here because it wasn't that much space to cover. When I have a lot of space to cover with like a lot of layers I'm moving at once, that's when I really use the zoom out capability. And that looks about right. All right, let's do the same thing with our Apex Racing Academy logo, which is way down here for some reason. Yep. Let's move that layer on up. It's going to end up being in its own group anyway for whenever we finally get the discount tracking put in place properly. Oh, come on, Bobby. I do that sometimes. I forget to copy the layer and I just start moving it. All right. Let's get you over where you're going. That looks close. All right, let's give that a try. Looks good with my eyeballs on it. Zoom this in just a little bit. Let's get to the other side. I'm fairly happy with that placement. Oh yeah. All right. So we'll end up with the driver's name on the wing. I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, so the next thing I need to do now is create a grouping for the colored parts. So let's get all our colored parts together. All right, there's our number plate colored areas. All right, so let's name this Pro. Color it red. And that's all our colored parts right there. Nice. Now, let's create a copy. Call it M. Color it green. Now, I do have already there's our GT color, but that's awful, our GT amateur color, but it's really a small sample. So just to make sure that I don't pick the wrong color, well, let's give it a stab here. Let's give it a stab. All right, so let's do our color pick. OB 54-bit looks about right. All right, so now Let's change our color overlay here. All right. Copy our layer style. Paste it on in there. And we should now have a GTM. Now, we've got the numbers out of place, but that's okay. We can just move those. All right, let's get the numbers moved on top of the decal layers where they need to be. All right, let's get all our GTAs into our new GTA folder, into our AM folder. Let's get our GTPs. Come on, turn back on. There we go. And let's get those into the Pro folder. All right, and now zoom this out a little bit. All right, so now with the click of a button, we go to Pro. Nice. Let's save where we are. Save early, save often. It's one thing I've learned over my years programming and in professional IT and all that. Because anything can happen and cause you to lose all your work really quick. So, save early, save often. So now, let's go ahead and reprocess this using our actions, which is one of the best things I ever learned about Photoshop. When I joined Extreme Motorsports and started doing the graphics and the decals, I got really tired of my old process of file, save as, all that. Now you got to remember, I'd been doing file, save as since, oh God, 2005, 2006. And it just finally, you know, enough was enough. And I finally started learning how to use some things about Photoshop that I should have learned a long time ago. And about my favorite has been the actions, because it just saves me so much time now. Oh yeah, I love that new XMS logo. Now yesterday, the first thing I did today was increase the border on it. Yesterday the border was a little too thin, leaving the logo to kind of have to be a little too big on the front. So the first thing I wanted to do this morning as I got to work was increase the border on the Extreme Motorsports series decal we have now. And it came out great, because now instead of and I got to do this in percent because I don't have like the pixel sizes memorized, but it was at 8%, now it's at 7%, which gives it a much better profile compared to the IMSA logo that goes on there. It's not taking up any more space than the IMSA logo did, and it's really legible. Yep, I really like that. I like how this came out. I would like a new Apex Racing TV decal though for the front. That white just really kind of takes away from what's going on with the rest of the car, but with the colors there being black and orange, I just don't know what else to do. Maybe someone from Apex Racing will watch this. I'll say, hey, Bobby, you know, you're right. And they're all British, but I'm not going to try to do a British accent right now. I used to have a good one, but now it's terrible. So maybe Alex Simpson will see this, or one of his other guys, and they'll be like, oh yeah, Bobby, that's right, man. Maybe we need to, you know, the Michelin logo that normally goes there is blue. Maybe we'll do something where the Apex Racing TV logo will look good on blue. Which orange technically can work well with blue. They're opposites, they go well together, you know, except in, you know, in college football. Because we don't like Auburn and we don't like Florida, either one. And those are our local orange and blue teams. But the problem would be the black of the Apex Racing title. Like maybe if it were in white, but that's something I guess I need to get with Alex about. Maybe I'll go ahead, because this is still early. This is not final. Maybe I'll get with Alex about us making an alternate version of that with, I know he has them with white lettering, and maybe the blue background will be fine. So we'll have a little talk with the guys at Apex and see if that can be the new front decal. So it looks more like the Michelin on the front. So let's go ahead and do a little something with the base paint here. Ugh, no, we don't want that at all. We'll get a not quite deep black there. Wow, and this is the first template that actually had the pit board as a separate thing. Now here's one gripe I have about the template. Dive plane color and splitter color. Those parts are apparently paintable, but only with specific patterns. And I think that's crap. It should be paintable for all patterns. I mean, that's just, I don't know why. I don't know why those kind of decisions are made. I really don't. Alright, but there we go. Oh yeah, me liking. Now I need to get a rear number on it. Let's finish grouping the rest of our decals together first. Alright, number plate, the latch is definitely one of them. Our Ricmotech logo, the safety, the grill, the tear off, which is now something. That's pretty cool. They actually have the tear off on the car now. And Apex Racing Academy needs to be its own folder, because it's eventually supposed to be turned off. Those are the base decals. We'll color those gray. As in, do not mess with, leave alone. And I have no problem leaving the base above the Pro and Am. And why did that not get copied in? You need to be copied in there. All right. All right, so now let's get ready for our custom spec map. Let's duplicate these. We'll merge them. And let's copy them into the spec map area. And what's already in the spec map here that's going to interfere with us? Doesn't look like much. Looks like for once it's a non-interfering spec map. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what I like to do, because their parts, I feel a lot of the time, are a little more important than what I'm going to do. And you see, I copied the latch right up here. So they've already got it spec mapped out. Looks good. I don't want what I'm fixing to do to interfere with that. So I'm going to create a new folder called parts. And we'll also make it gray, because we don't want it to interfere with anything. Now here's our red channel metallic, okay? See how it changes. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the attributes. Come on, open. Come on, blending options, there we go. So this is supposed to be red, so we just change it to red. So these can exist in the same folder. You do need to keep them in the same order though, so they don't interfere with each other. Now that is just the green. Let's put the red back on top. And let's change this one to green only, like it's supposed to be. And this is how your spec maps should look. I see a lot that are full red and green, like no one takes the time to turn the blue off. No one's actually selecting the layers right. It works, but this really is how your spec maps should look. They should be blues and pinks and variations thereof. All right, so now we got our bases down here. And for this, for what I like to do for testing and for the pictures I put out for everyone of what the car looks like as they go to download the templates, I'll go ahead and turn this into a little bit of a flat finish. Now everything, and again, I've seen lots of colors on templates. Everything on these spec maps is black and white. Literally no color at all. This is how you should determine your roughness, and this is how you should determine your metallics, right? This is the only scale you should be using. See how that all changes? But it is strictly going from black to white and shades of gray between. No hue, no saturation, just brightness, okay? So for a good stealthy looking appearance, sometimes you can go as high as 50. Right now I'm going to start with 40. I think that'll be good. So that's going to add that stealthy roughness, that matte finish that we want. Now for our base here, for our decals, I also have an action saved up here to create 2 spec map layers. And here we go. There we are, that fast. My own base has now been spec mapped out properly. Now let's cut that layer back off. And let's fire up Merc GT3 number. And it'll do its thing. And of course I'll have to manually copy the Apex Racing again myself into the spec map as well, because it has to maintain its own folder. And there we go. Nice matte finish. And properly spec mapped out. There we go. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Although I do need to do the cutout for the wing. I'll handle that later. Yeah. Nice matte finish there. All right, so we'll collapse those layers, those groups now. And let's make our Apex Racing Academy correction here. Put it in a folder. There we go. Now, duplicate again. Merge. Drag it on up here. Hit our spec mapping action. All right, now that's covered. Make a folder here real quick. And I like using yellow for parts that you're going to constantly turn off and on. Although for now it's going to stay on until we get the our tracking finalized again. So now what we need is a rear number on this car. We need a rear number now. Because we simulate IMSA, we don't use the little teeny tiny SRO number. We use that big fat IMSA number. All right, so come on, big fat IMSA number. Where are you? Let's see. Where's our IMSA number blocks? It's another pet peeve of mine with iRacing right now is they use the IMSA number even for SRO events. Which is just, come on guys, put in a little effort. That should be a completely different number rendered out. Completely different. And yet there you are, you know, doing the thing. Making it weird. Big IMSA number on a non-IMSA series. So, I don't see the reasoning behind it. So, let's see, do we want difference or exclusion? Let's do exclusion. Let's cut this down to about 50%. All right. So let's copy this version of the 32 here. Do I have one that's not already linked to something? Okay, let's copy this 32. Let's unlink it from anything so it doesn't do weird stuff. And where are you at? There you are. You're on the driver's side door. All right. Let's zoom back in. Get to where we need to be. Need my nudge tool here. This number's really going to be big back here. We will shrink-erate it. All right, so let's start with 72. Wow, is 72 it? Like right off the rip? I think so. Wow. I was not expecting that. All right, so now it's time for a really cool trick. So let's bring our 32 up here. Let's turn our spec map on. Now, you could make 2 copies of your number. I have been doing this. And make one, 15% roughness like it's supposed to be and 0% metallic. And then let the 2 merge together and do the thing. But then you have a whole bunch of extra numbers up here. So here's what we're going to do instead. And trust me, this works. We're going to copy that color that the merged spec maps make. That's your flat right there. That's the standard reflectiveness, the standard material for iRacing. That's what you want your number to be. is the standard material, and that's it. When the two spec maps come together, the roughness and the metallic, that's it. So just copy that color. And guess what? You're good to go. Good to go every time. So let's cut that spec map off. Let's process. And there we go. All right. And just to show you that this trick does work, let's go back into the spec map. Let's take the base now. And let's make it almost completely white. All right. 80, 80, 80. Okay. Let's take the brightness up really high. Let's take it up to about an 80. Okay. All right. So now, let's go into our spec map here. And let's turn the roughness that we had done off. And let's give it some real glow here. Oh yeah, 80%. Oh yeah, that's going to glow up nice. That's going to chrome like crazy. That should make that rare number disappear. Because the white, the chrome absorbs all the white like crazy. It'll take a second to process the chrome. There we go. Good and chromed up, and yet our number is still clearly visible the way it should be. As visible as it can be, you know, going over that crease. But this is a real good way to test your spec maps. Chrome the car up. And make sure especially your whites, aren't lost. If your whites aren't lost, your spec map's in real good shape. And there we go. So that's how we do that. And the Merc is now almost done. Just a couple finishing touches. Maybe a couple little regroups. And I am going to get with the guys at Apex to see if we can create a blue version of that. So it's about quitting time for me on this now. I sit on a computer all day at work, so I don't spend a ton of time at once at home. I try to take frequent breaks, get up and walk around, stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do now. Take me a little bit of a break. And there you go. That's the new decal set for the Ricmotech World Challenge. Heading into 2023, it will actually debut here. I think we're going mid to late August is when the new season of the Ricmotech World Challenge fires off. And those of you watching who may be interested, trust me, we will BOP if we have to. We try not to, but our league will not have a travesty at Spa the way we just saw iRacing have, with nothing but Mercs and Beamers and a couple Porsches, and then everyone driving in the grass. Our league will not run like that. So if we have to BOP, we will. We want everyone to drive the car that they love and to be able to be competitive. And we have live race stewarding, so drivers trying to run in the grass, that's not going to happen. So you can feel comfortable signing up with us. We have drivers of all talent levels who are always willing to help out as well. And of course, you see we have this nice, beautiful, professional decal set for our broadcasts. So We try to really represent our sponsors well and our partners, and try to have a really sharp, tight-looking broadcast as well, because we just feel that will help bring in more opportunities for our drivers, because it just, even as someone watching from home, it gives you that air that, this is a real deal league. They really are dedicated to, good racing with a professional appearance, live race officiating, just all the, I can't say professionalism enough. That's what we strive for. And quality action on the track, represented in the best possible way. So it's like Goldberg wearing a suit and tie. That's what we are. Awesome action, but we're looking good doing it. Okay? So anyway, going to end this here. Going to go take my little break, and then I'll put the final touches on this and move on to the next car, because they all have to be updated. Even if they may have some of the proper current logos, the number plate is completely different now. The pro forma decal that goes on the nose is completely different. And before I do any of that, we're going to touch base with the guys at Apex Racing TV to see if we can make a blue version, a blue background version of that nose decal, just to get a little more of that immersion going. So anyway, I hope any of you who watch enjoy. And hey, Stubby, man, sorry I couldn't see chat until just now, man. So always fun having Stubby drop by. I'll send you a DM if you're not still watching, buddy. So anyway, hope you learned something. Hope you liked it.